Hello folks. Well, it's official. We've officially reached North Carolina, our 19th state. This is the state where apparently people have tar on their heels. It's the Tar Heel State. Here we are, North Carolina. This is so exciting. The Appalachian Mountains extend through several states in the US, another of which we are visiting today for the first time is, of course, North Carolina. Its regions are dictated by the topography. Here in the western region, it's the most mountainous where we are. Then there's the Piedmont region where there's flat rolling hills and farmland. And then there's that Atlantic coastal plain on the east, right next to the ocean where it's just completely flat. The parts we're going to be seeing in North Carolina are going to be on the western mountainous side. This is the Appalachian Adventure. We're going to be spending it on the mountainous side. But the first location I want to take you all here is this beautiful Renaissance-like chateau called the Biltmore Estate. And as you can see by the people, it's quite a tourist attraction. Lots of people all over the country, maybe even the world, are showing up here to take a look at this beautiful mansion. This is the largest privately owned mansion in the world, and with a line that long, there's no chance we're getting inside. So I'm gonna take a tour through the outside. There's a nearby garden area that's probably very, very peaceful. And of course, the outside of this mansion. It's gonna be a great time for this first part of our journey today here in Asheville, North Carolina. George Vanderbilt was a man in the late 1800s. While everyone was working in poor conditions, he made his fortune. He had enough money to build his own little estate, his home, here in the highlands of North Carolina. But of course, he didn't build it. He was too rich. He had other people build it for him. And behind us is what you see, the Biltmore Estate for George Vanderbilt. And yes, of course it was named after him. It's his place. Well, say what you want about the guy, but he picked the perfect place to build his own estate. Here in North Carolina mountain country, of course, all the views are going to be beautiful with these hills and mountains in the distance. And I don't know what this would be, like an outdoor foyer for people to congregate, but from this view, you can tell the sights that one would see are just spectacular. And this estate, this house, seems like something you'd more likely see in Europe than the American continent. Well, that's because Vanderbilt took a lot of influence from Europe. The house itself is one of those chateau-esque French Renaissance buildings. And then the garden that we see ahead takes a lot of influence from the Italian countryside. Maybe we should get a better view of the garden. Biltmore Estate is a great place to take a glimpse into the nature of western North Carolina and at the same time also get a glimpse at a bit of history, a bit of American culture. The one problem is the admission price. If you want to drop $65 to $70 just being alone without even going into the house, well, you could do it just like I'm doing, but it's a pain to think about, and as you can probably tell, I'm not enjoying dropping that $65 to $70 on just general admission. But yeah, that's a little bit enough of the Biltmore Estate. Since we are supposed to be exploring Asheville, North Carolina, why don't we actually get to the center of it all? the downtown area. And trust me, this place is quite a sight to behold. It's no general town or city. It's got a little bit of charm to it. I think Asheville, North Carolina is one of the most lively cities we've gone to, and you'll see that soon. There's all these people here, which you don't really normally see in an average city, which is actually kind of fun. And it's a very artsy place. It's not just some place for business, it's also where people profess their passions through art and creativity. There's also all these old buildings, but they're not one of those like brick building cities. There's a lot of Art Deco architecture because back when Art Deco was the thing, the Great Depression hit in because that took a toll on the economy of Asheville. Nothing major in terms of buildings were built. No new development happened, so all the Art Deco stayed here in Asheville. It's a great vibe here because not only do you have a lot of people here, but you have a lot of independent, free-minded people with such a free, liberated spirit. So you can definitely tell that through just walking around and seeing all the people walking by. They may not be walking by, they may be skating by, skateboarding by, riding by on one of those pedicabs. Asheville, of course, has a big restaurant scene, a big pub scene. And the great thing about it is, like some of these college towns we visited, there's no McDonald's, no Subway, no KFC, no big chains. There's just the local stuff. And people really tend to support the local businesses around here, which is always nice. Probably think of North Carolina as a state that's just quintessentially southern, but here in Asheville it seems like this is one of those few bastions of cosmopolitan life. And here, folks, we have the Asheville clock. Another to the collection.
Or is something deeper, but euphoria we've enough.
Well, stone roads and painted brick buildings, you know what that means. It's the older part of Asheville. That's just a guess. So yeah, this is the Grove Arcade. Just a lot of shops and stuff, as if the whole city wasn't full of shops and such. But I'm really loving Asheville. It seems like such a quirky, eclectic city. I love it. I'm sorry, I stand corrected. This behind me, that's the Grove Arcade. It's indoors. I didn't expect it to be indoors. We should go check it out though, nevertheless. Okay, so it's like a luxury shopping mall. Well, for however you want to take it, Asheville is unlike many places, most places. It has a personality of its own that's just unlike any other city. So with that said, I bid you adieu from Asheville, North Carolina. We gotta go back to some nature. I mean, there's mountains all around here. So walking nearby the downtown area of Asheville, North Carolina, with just such awe for how the city works. More travels to come. I will see you at the next location.